Welcome back to this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, as we hear from the animal nutrition experts with Purina and learn about the value of a strong mineral nutrition program for your cattle herd. Thanks again for joining us in the studio today. Really appreciate it. Sarah, I want to start with you. You know, there are a lot of options when it comes to minerals, and I guess I would ask you, what are some of the key characteristics we should be looking for in selecting a mineral program?
Well, I think as a producer myself, I really value the aspect of consistent intake with minerals. So, you know, the cows, they've got to eat it every single day. It's super important to get those nutrients in the cow that they need consistently. Second of all, it needs to be balanced nutrition. I mean, basically, we need to make sure that we're feeding the right mineral for the right season or the right nutritional requirement for that cow in a certain gestational or lactational stage. Okay. And finally, you know, the quality and the integrity of the company and the appearance of the mineral and how it's going to stand up over time and resist weather. So that's why I feel so confident with our Purina Wind and Rain Storm Formula mineral formulations that are designed to get that job done. Yeah,
the Storm mineral is really intriguing, and Dr. Cosby, I think you have a demonstration showing us just how your Storm mineral actually resists some of the common problems we have from a weather standpoint.
We do, Kevin. With the Wind and Rain Storm mineral, our market research has emphasized how important that was. 4 of the top 6 reasons that producers say they don't use mineral has to do with intake. So we want to make sure we have consistent intake. To me, it is difficult to have consistent intake without a weather-resistant mineral formula. If it blows away and the cattle don't get it, or if it cakes up and becomes less palatable and the cattle don't consume it, it doesn't matter how good that mineral is if the cattle aren't consuming it. So what we have to demonstrate our weather resistance is 2 minerals. This is the Wind and Rain Storm mineral, a larger particle size, and this represents my mineral feeder, and there are some holes drilled in the bottom of that mineral feeder.
All right.
And on this side is a more conventional meal mineral with, again, same number of holes drilled in the bottom of that mineral feeder. If we do that at home with our mineral feeders, it allows that water to get away from the mineral when we get a
rain event.
Rain event, right, which I think many of us right now would appreciate in our homes right now. So we'll pour that mineral or the water over the mineral.
Yes.
And we'll start to take a look at how much of that water actually gets away from the mineral and comes through. And one of the things that I guess as we do this demonstration, Kevin, one of the most common questions we get is, if it resists water that well, does it also resist digestion?
That's a good question, yeah.
And that was a question that myself and the other nutritionists had as we looked at these programs. Through our research at the Purina Animal Nutrition Center outside Gray Summit, Missouri, we've taken a look and actually analyzed to make sure that once those minerals get into the small intestine and that low pH, the ingredients we're using, which are feed-safe ingredients to make this technology, that the animal actually does digest it. The minerals are thoroughly bioavailable, and the rancher is getting the mineral nutrition that he's paying for.
I'm amazed at how quickly that is dissipating through the Wind and Rain Storm mineral. It really is amazing how much, and it's primarily because of the particle size, or what are we seeing there?
There's a combination of the particle size, so a larger particle size resists blowing in the wind, and then the other thing is that larger particle size allows that water to percolate through. And finally, there are some ingredients in there that help that mineral resist the water. Those are those digestible ingredients I mentioned.
Right. Now, I hate trying to take mineral out and having it totally caked up like cement. You know what I mean? You've probably had that experience before in the past.
Yeah, we have, and I think this is a prime example. We have a little incident in our pasture this last year. We AI out in the pasture, and we have a holding pen, and I just used a simple tub. And a long time ago, Sarah said if I was ever going to use the Wind and Rain storm to drill a couple little holes in the bottom of it. So I did, and I dumped mineral in there while we were AIing. We came back, that was in June, we came back in September to precondition those calves. and hadn't had anything in that pen, and you could grab that mineral, and it was just like the day we put it in there.
No kidding.
And we had those cows really went to it.
Yeah, they went. They didn't hesitate to eat it.
Yeah.
So that was what I was going to ask. Talk to me about palatability, because you've said it several times. If cows don't eat it, I mean, it's great that it sits out there and doesn't blow, but my question is, do you find, Harry, in your operation that there is a high degree of palatability to this mineral?
Well, I think so, simply because, like you said, it's never caked up. You know, those mineral feeders are unattended, and they get rolled over, lids come off, they get weathered one way or the other.
Sure.
And like you said, the one thing I always hated was spending money on good mineral and coming out there and finding a block.
Right.
So we see a real consistent consumption with this type of mineral.
That's great. Well, guys, yeah, go ahead. You were
I
going to
just
say,
think
Sarah.
that sometimes we overlook palatability. We just think they ought to eat it,
Right.
but really there's quite a few minerals out there that cows don't consume readily. So.
Yeah, and I want to talk about consumption in a few minutes
Okay.
after this break. Don't go away. We'll take a closer look at the variety of mineral formulations available, including those that'll help you with fly control. We'll be back with more right after this.